Good evening, guys, and welcome to my life. Today, I want us to dissect what is currently going on in the Nigerian aviation industry. I want us to discuss these unruly behaviors with passengers, airline passengers. I think is becoming too much, and the trend is skyrocketing somehow. Now, last week, was it last week or specifically on the 5th of August 2025, we had a case of, a popular Fuji musician called K1 Wasiu Ayinde, who boarded a value jet airline from Abuja to Lagos, Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. And it was to be checked in from the VIP lane. But when he got to the checking point, which was actually the last checking point before you embark on the airplanes, and he was carrying a flask, which the airline staff confirmed the content to be an alcohol, from what we are told. But he claimed that that was not true. That what was actually was inside the flask was water, to which he used for his medications because doctors advise him to always carry the water because the type of illness he was suffering from causes him dehydration. So he has to be taking in water frequently. For me, I want to say if this was actually explained, we are Nigerians and we know how we respect elders, especially celebrity. I don't think the airline, staff would insist that they shouldn't carry. Even if they want to insist, they should have provided a safe landing for him. But from what we later saw then was this exchange took a different dimensions, which was very worrisome. What we now later see in the video was Wasiu Ayinde, standing in front of a moving airline, an airline that was about to taxi. Although after then a lot has transpired, we've held the captain and the co-pilot. Their license has been suspended, and then Wasiu Aide has been, handed over a 6 month ban or the listing from on the aviation industry. And he has also come out to tender an apology, which is very, very commendable, which shows that he's actually a responsible citizen. It talks about his contributions to the society and how he has been an ambassador of this country. I, for one, really commend him for showing that maturity. Not quite long, on the 10th, that's on Sunday, we had another case of a young lady called Comfort Emerson, which also boarded a flight from Uyo to Lagos. And we heard that what transpired was a case of put up your mobile phone, and she said no. Or rather, she continued to use her mobile phone. And in all fairness, against the aviation standards, rules, and regulations, is that if a flight is about to take off, every passenger will be instructed to put their mobile phone on the flight mode. And when the plane is about to land, you also be given the same instructions. Maybe out of ignorance or stubbornness, we're told she refused to do that. And then it was a passenger who even called the attention of the airline hostess. And when she was told to comply to the instructions, she started insulting everybody. And that continued, that bass boozer continued until they got to Lagos. And then the whole thing escalated from that point. That's by the way. I want us to watch the video of our reactions, and then I'm going to discuss what I think about, you know, about
She was giving her slap left and right. Who was slapping who? She was slapping on the head one.
about it,
Like,
but how our justice systems handle these two issues. I just want you to watch.
She was beating her. She was beating her. Just
Now,
like
in
trying
the
to
airline,
calm down. She was like serious slap.
on landed to go to Lagos,
For having in
she
mind,
refused to come down, and I had to bundle her. I think that was when probably her clothes got torn.
Operations run for you.
So the scene we're watching right now is this is what transpired at Lagos International Airport. There were no videos of actually what happened. That's for video. The videos we have is all that transpired.
I want to see the head of
Can you leave the body part from the premium lounge?
It's actually
Don't touch her because they are recording and you're going to get your entry. You guys don't touch her. Don't touch her, don't pick anything. Let her have
so if you are watching from Facebook or YouTube, I want to keep drop your comments. Let's drop your comments.
Let's take her out of this place now.
You're watching me. Let's drop your comments.
Hello, I'm not speaking back. Where after? Let them
Okay, sorry about that. All right. Welcome. So that's the video there. And from what we gathered so far, that in less than 24 hours, this lady has been charged to court and remanded in Kirikiri prison. Like I said, her action is condemnable. Either she had to acted out of ignorance, or she was just being a stubborn girl. And if that's the case, then she's suffering what a stubborn fly that follows dead body to the grave will suffer. So that's a good punishment for her. But the angle I want us to look at this case from uh, is how the system treated uh, the two corporate of this behavior. Now, like I said from the beginning, that Wasiu Ayinde was given the opportunity to tender an apology, of which, and that is commendable. And we are told that ValueJet did not institute any case against him, Rather, it was the NCCA that handed over a 6 month ban to Wasiu Ayinde. But in the case of this girl, we are told that Ibon Airlines place a charge against this lady. Charge her to court, and she has been given a life ban. And what is the implication of this? It means that she can no longer uh, enter any airline, both locally and internationally, for the rest of her life. And on top of that, she has also been charged to court and remanded in Kirikiri prison. Now, the angle I want us to look at this case from is that what does it tell us about the kind of society we want to build? Why do we have to have two different rules for two set of citizens that display the same kind of behavior? Even one seems, to be more worrisome than the other. Her own, she was just busy, attacking the air hostess. But in the case of Kwawan, I have nothing against K1, but his attitude is totally condemnable. But what we saw was that he was given a pet at the back. But in the case of this girl, Comfort, a maximum punishment was handed over to her. So what does this, tells us? What message is the government and probably the official involved with these airlines and NCA trying to tell the public that in Nigeria there are separate law for both the rich and the poor? We're told that K1 is an ally of the president. So it is obvious this is the reason for that pet in the back punishment. But in the case of this girl, it was a maximum punishment. And what I want to say today is that we are trying to build a nation that is so fragile, a democracy that is so young. We must build a system that is no respecter of any individual. If you break the law, irrespective of your status and who you know, the system, you should be allowed to face your judgment. You should be allowed to face the punishment. This is how a nation is built. A nation where we have two separate laws, one for the poor and the other one's for the rich, I don't think it's a nation that is serious. And so we must use this two case as a litmus test to assess our justice system in this country and ask ourselves, what type of justice system do we want to build? What type of nations do we want to build? How do we want the world to look at us? If the world wants to do business with us, what would they say about our justice system? Would they think it's fair or not? I don't know laws is fair. And that's why, irrespective of your status, you should dance, to whatever drums that you have beat. Well, I don't know what the government is planning to do about the K1's room. Or maybe after the apology, that's the end of the case. We're told the whole thing is under investigation. But in the case of this girl, there was nobody could even wait for any investigations. And the punishment was accordingly. So why was it so different from K1? I think that's the questions every reasonable Nigeria is asking. I want the government to do something about that. So that's my take. I don't know what is your take. What do you say? Whatever you think, uh, that quick justice that was meted on the lady, do you think it was okay? Or that life ban, do you think that was too rash? If there was consideration for K1, why shouldn't be any consideration for this young lady? Probably she acted out of ignorance or sheer stubbornness, like I said. Let me see what's your take. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow again. My name is Johnson Ako.